Well, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the RoA build. So, this is how it works. You use RoA, and then you use your pen shot. And it reduces the cooldown, and you just alternate back and forth between those. So, first thing we need to look at is a class mechanic, and we have preparation here. So every 75 energy we spend reduces our ultimate cooldown by 5. And it gives us some damage reduction. And we have 160 energy, so that 75 fits in there 2 times. So we reduce the cooldown by 10 if we deplete all our energy. And how do we do that? Well, we have the Beastfall boots, so after using an ultimate skill, our next core ability drains all our energy. So this rain of arrows, followed by pen shot, and boom, we go to 0. And it reduces the cooldown by 10. So, as you can see, the cooldown is 12.5 seconds, and you can't get it any lower than that. I try to stack more energy to basically get another 5-second cooldown reduction bracket on top of that, or 15 in total, but it does not work. For some odd reason, it doesn't work. So, sometimes it's also a little bit buggy and it reduces the cooldown only by 5 seconds. In that case, you have to quickly recover your energy and shoot a second time to get your cooldown back, your ability back. Another important thing for this build is, there it is, it's Aftermath. So yeah, you get some health regen when your ulti is in your hotbar, but after using an ulti you get 75 energy. Well, I have 160. Look at that. Ooh, that's more than 75. So I guess that whole thing is a little bit buggy, but I love how it works. I hope it never changes, because this is how this build is supposed to work, in my opinion. So I hope the devs will never change that. Oh, and another good thing about this passive here is that your ultimate skills also reset all your cooldowns. So when I do this, boom, stealth.
I need more time.
Stealth, like you can be in stealth almost permanently. And you can dash around and throw caltrops and throw your little smoke grenades. So, let's have a look at the skill tree real quick. So you start with basic attack ability that you don't need, 3 points in damage reduction, 1 point in movement speed because you need an additional point, and we don't need siphoning strikes. Then we grab the good old cookie cutter caltrops here with like crit chance and increased damage, 3 points into damage reduction, 1 point into this because I have a spare point. You can put it wherever you want. 3 points into this here. We don't need any points in dash because we have a Shaco, and I didn't pick these because they only proc when you daze or stun an enemy, and my clear speed versus normal monsters is actually quite good. I don't need it for that, and when it comes to bosses, this will only proc for a short period of time, and I rather pick the 9% crit chance or imbued abilities, and our Rain of arrows will always be imbued, so I think it's the better choice. Next thing is, of course, Dark Shroud, 3 points in here, and we pick the crit chance upgrade, 1 point in Agile and 3 in Mending, so we get 15% health per second while we are stealth, and we will use this here a lot. We don't need the point because we have Shaco. 1 point in Smoke Grenade, 1 for the upgrade for extra damage. We don't need the last upgrade because we constantly reduce the cooldowns. Exploit and Malice as always. 1 point in Shadow Imbuement and the upgrades because we want that 12% extra damage, and Old Imbuement the same for the extra damage against Frozen. Frigid Finesse as always. Pretty standard. Aftermath, yeah. And Adrenaline Rush and Haste, of course, for more movement speed, and 3 points into Rain of Arrows. Now, when it comes to the ultimate passives, well, Momentum you can't use. Exposure is pretty much useless for this build, so the only 3 options you have is Victimize, which is currently bugged, and RoA has a low lucky hit chance, so it's not gonna proc that often. So it's probably not a good choice right now. Close Quarters requires you to hit with dash. You can use it, but I currently stick to precision because every once in a while your Rain of Arrows is gonna hit like a truck. But none of these are really tailored around Rain of Arrows and the way you use it, so they're not really optimal at the moment. Now let's check the Paragon board real quick. So we have some resists here, some damage, and in the first board I pick Kenny for more non-physical damage, and some armor here because I need to fix my armor. I don't have enough armor without these nodes. First board is Exploit Weakness. Here I have the Ranger Glyph. It's not even leveled, I'm sorry for that, I didn't have enough time for that. But yeah, some damage reduction, a little bit of extra damage. Next board is No Witness. Now here we use Versatility because we get 25% multiplicative damage for non-basic and non-core abilities, so Rain of Arrows. And it buffs our life nodes here. We get some massive ultimate damage over there. And of course the 45% multiplicative bonus damage. Next board is Cheap Shot. We pick the damage reduction against Elite, of course, that's pretty standard. And we use Control Glyph here for extra damage against crowd control and a little bit of damage reduction here. Then I went into Tricks of Trade for more multiplicative damage when we alternate between Cutthroat and Marksman. A little bit of life and shadow res here. And the Fluidity Glyph for more multiplicative damage when we use dash. And it buffs the armor nodes. I need a little bit more armor, as I just explained, and yeah, we get a little bit more damage here. And number 6 is Runner's Instinct. I picked the elemental res nodes here, and I went with Diminish. Theoretically, you could also pick Exploit for more damage. I went with Diminish to be a little bit tankier and to buff the resist nodes to fix my resists. And the last board is Eldritch Bounty. So when we use Rain of Arrows with our weapon imbuements, we get massive damage boost from this one and some nice little chunk of extra damage from these 2 nodes. Now, items. Well, I use Shaco for life, max resource and armor, and also a little bit for the cooldown reduction, but we don't really need it because I have a greater affix cooldown reduction Word of Hakan, so a Shaco is not really that useful when it comes to cooldown reduction, at least. But the damage reduction, the +4 skills, like everything is nice about this item for this build. Pretty standard chest piece to fix my resists, and Dark Shroud on crit classic crit gloves with, in this case, yeah, arrow storms make enemies vulnerable to get some extra damage. You could also use some other offensive aspect or the unit gloves. The unit gloves that give you more lucky hit chance. We use T-Bolts well for extra damage, some damage reduction while we are in stealth, because we are unstoppable in stealth and we get less damage, and for the maximum resource to get over the 150. And yeah, as I explained before, Beast Fall, ultimate cooldown reduction, which is probably no longer necessary, and some max resource, and of course the unique effect, which makes the build possible. As a weapon I choose a crossbow because I have this 2-second delay, so I can't spam rain of arrows, so I use a slower weapon with more basic damage. And as a tempering enchant you use rain of arrows and yeah, work around caltrops. And as an aspect I use more arrow storm damage because thanks to Word of Hakan, arrow storm bonuses no work for rain of arrows. And yeah, it's not the best amulet that I have here. When it comes to the rolls, they could be a little bit higher, but it suffices for now. Rings are just pretty standard Dex Life crit rings with rain of arrow damage and offensive aspects. When it comes to the second tempering, you can go. I went for agility and dash cooldown reduction, so you can dash a little bit more often between packs. I think that's a good choice. And weapons, same, just Dex Life and additional damage, and caltrops and rain of arrow damage, and offensive aspects. In this case, also the elemental aspect for either cold and shadow damage, or cold, shadow and poison damage, or a little bit of physical damage for our arrow storms, because we have arrow storm here and here, and if I throw a smoke grenade then also here, and they don't really profit from elemental damage, so that buffs that a little bit, but most damage comes from the elemental, and this one buffs all of it, so that's pretty good. So, now the question is, how good is this build? Well, it's pretty good versus large packs of monsters. It has quite good clear speed, and the damage versus bosses is where this build is a little bit weaker, and you can really feel that in higher level arenas where it takes just ages to kill bosses, so it's not efficient to do that. But I had a lot of fun playing this build in arenas up to tier 5, that still works quite well. Maybe tier 6 would be possible if my gear was better, but it's not at the moment. But still, the build is quite fun to play. It's very different than the usual builds out there, and I like these off-meta builds. I wish Blizzard would buff the single target boss damage more and would fix these weird buggy interactions with the energy without breaking the build how I currently play it. That would be great. Well, I hope you had fun watching this video. If you did, consider giving it a like and give me a sub if you want. That would be cool. And anyways, enjoy Season 5 and have a nice day. Bye bye.